check one, 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 two, 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 three, three, rolling. It's rolling, roll. So again with the race, and this is all a dramatic rendition and reinterpretation, as well as the modern, current. It's not live, it's Memorex, but it's modern, it's current, as well as a rendition of the between 2006 and 2018 at the former location, which was just a 15-minute jog from the Fort Trumbull Nuclear Submersible Parking Space. So I did a little bit of a physical, in video, and then there was some sort of, a strength and detail or of sorts in audio. It was 2.5 minutes and then 4.5 minutes. This is following up both of those, and before I get into that, there's a point of on the separate channel. There is the it's YouTube dot Drew Carlson 90, I think it is, or a DC 90 or D Carlson 90 of sorts, or something similar to. There was the Drew Carlson is it a channel? I think the Drew Carlson extension on YTube DC 90 of sorts, had over 2.5 thousand uploaded videos. And it's the same stories that I've always told, since 2006, 2018 in the former location. Just a 15 minutes run. Now I'm a half-hour jog or a half-hour run from the Fort Trumbull. What's that? It's like a 2.5 minute car ride from the Fort Trumbull Nuclear Submersible Parking Space, or something similar. So there's that, and then what I was getting into now was race. What makes up my biological human being in itself, Sid, and maybe if I could express some of the abnormal features that come along with being somewhat of a 75% endangered species. And that's not one species, but I've got five different human species, human races, quote unquote, in our sort in my they make up my person. So I'll start with the tallest and down to the leastest percentages, and no particular favorites. As it's not in my order of favorites. It's 35% from not the most northern North Pole, but sort of like continental Scandinavia. And if you draw a Mason-Dixon line, the top of the continental Scandinavia. It was formerly, or it has been formerly known as the Nordic Circle. It's not the Arctic Circle. It was the Nordic Circle. It's something. If you were to draw a circle around the very tippity top, the North Pole would be the Arctic Circle, and then maybe if you went down, not to where the Earth would seem like a more evenly shaped ball, but sort of like the very where it's still 30 days of night, and 30 days of sunrise, whether winter or summer. I was trying to figure out how to put that politely, and I figured, oh, well, maybe I'm North Arctic. I could call myself a North Arctic, but it's more like a Norse Scandinavian, Northern Scandinavian, not necessarily Caucasian whatsoever, but from the peoples that are from the land of the ice and snow, sorts of. The Nordic is, with no offense, like please, I'm not some sort of figment of Hitler's imagination or with the Third Reich whatsoever. I'm pro USA and in the modern day. So a Nordic 35%, and then 25% Caucasian Scottish, plain regular ordinary white Caucasian Scottish. Nextly, it's a 15 point something percent Mohegan from on my father's side, 6 generations back. He was sighted in 1790 AD, and the USA Census, and married to a Mohegan woman that was Mohegan 100%. The Brand New World Werewolves, also known as the Mohegans, in basic ABC language. The Brand New World Werewolves, or the Mohegans, from the 1790 AD. I get a 3 point something percent, and then my great grandfather John Hyde on my mom's side was 100% Mohegan as well. So I'd get a 12.5% from that. That'd bring me up to about 15 point something percent Mohegan, 12.5% Cherokee, and 12.5%. And this is an interesting one. It's the not Germanic indigenous Swiss, not Germanic, Nephilium, or also known as, and excuse me, and I've explained before, I'm not affiliated with any sort of Hitler's figments of imagination land or Third Reich whatsoever. I'm pro USA. The quote unquote Aryan of sorts. So Nephilium, Aryan, non-Germanic indigenous Swiss, not Germanic indigenous Swiss, and all right, and if you'll take all of that and exclude the 25% Caucasian, Scottish, white, you'll notice they're all endangered human races or endangered human peoples or human peoples that are on the brink of extinction, sort of speak. Mohegan being the most on its way out along, go to the same lines of the dodo or the blue-footed booby or the dinosaurs, I suppose, saber-toothed tiger, etc., or something similar. Say, there's that. Yeah, and then there's the strange traits. My skin will go from a white to a tan to a black to a black red same time, and not much else as far as skin. Those are the bits and pieces of skin assortments. My eyes have 8 or 16 variations depending on if it's a single color in the iris or multiple colors in the iris. Is probably no more than 32 variations of iris color. And the first is from being the black skin is supposedly from the Cherokee, as well as the bone in the throat, the throated, the bony throat, and then there was the chest, which was probably mostly the strange skull shape Mohegan, and the chest, which may be a Mohegan heart bone with Cherokee extra ribs of sorts. Um, so there was the and withstand hypothermia, like your uh, lucky African, I suppose, would withstand heat stroke or doesn't get sunburn. I would doesn't get hypothermia and doesn't get frostbite um, until it's about negative 25. Or that doesn't mean that the North Atlantic salt in the wind, or when I'm soaked and I go outside and the heat wears off, I doesn't feel pain from the water leaving, and the dry or other things like that. It's not that I'm impervious to hypothermias of sorts or frostbites of sorts or cold burns and things like that. I'm not completely 100% invincible towards them. It's just I